Good evening, everybody. All right, we're setting up what I call the new rare program. So we're going to go into a little promo here, but the benefit of this promo is that if you're a member of the Candlestick Forum, it's not going to cost you anything. It's just going to be an enhancement to what Candlestick Analysis already does for us. And the rare system is research analysis reverse engineering. And essentially what that means is the candlestick charts provide a very relevant information that allows us to get a head start on what everybody else might be analyzing. So we've had a sector that is being promoted by the fact that Tesla making electric vehicles is up over 700%. That's right, with twice the price. We've had NIO up over 1,000% over the last, I think, year or so. But more importantly, what it's inferring is that the electric vehicle, and I want to say electric vehicle, and that's going to include all alternative energy vehicles, because we've got some that are fuel cells that are trying to utilize hydrogen as the energy. But what this is boiling down to is this whole sector came alive. Now, if you've heard me spout this information in the chat rooms, I've got to do it again. But 2 years ago, with Elon Musk saying he's going to be producing electric cars, that to me just sounded like a rich man's method for being energy conscious, that they were driving electric cars. But as we have seen this past year, he has sold 500,000 Teslas, and that's a pretty hefty chunk of cars. That's not your fun vehicle or your play vehicle. So we've seen side industries like Blink charging stations. About a year ago, it was at $1. Today it's at $45. We started picking it up at $8.87, not because we knew anything great was happening in that industry, but the chart looked good. A fry pan bottom breakout of a wedge. And we've had these type of profits with it. So candlestick analysis does two things for us when we're analyzing a sector that is moving dramatically. One, it's telling us once we get into a position, is the uptrend still in progress? Do we stay in that position? Or two, it alerts us to when a new chart is about ready to take off. Now, that's based upon candlestick analysis. Most of you, if you have listened to me over the past few years, when somebody says, well, do you take fundamentals into account? And my answer has always been, the fundamentals are already built into the chart. We don't have to pay attention to it. All we have to do is see that everybody else's research or their analysis has already taken into consideration what the fundamentals are, and they're buying those stocks. However, there is a different dynamic going on right now in the alternative vehicle sector. That it is not going to be just a plaything. First of all, consumer I want to say consumer acceptance or expectation is that they're swinging toward electric cars. And that's been seen in the hybrids that have been doing very well over the last couple of years. Right now, there is, I think electric vehicles are 1% of the total automobile market. And they're gaining acceptance in two areas. One, from consumer acceptance, and two, the investment sector. There are billions of dollars being pushed into these SPACs or startup companies, which means there's a lot of confidence in the investment area that this market's going to get bigger. So as I've mentioned, right now 1% of the market is electric vehicles. And it's becoming established to the point where if in the next couple years it goes to 2% or even 3%, that's going to be huge advances. But as the acceptance gets bigger, what if it becomes 20% or 30%? That means there's tremendous upside potential in a lot of these companies. Now, here's the problem. Technology. Technology is moving so fast in this area. As we have seen 2 years ago, Tesla had a range of 120 miles on a charge. That made the charging stations a little bit more attractive. Then Tesla went to 420 miles on a charge. And now both Tesla and NIO are saying they can probably get to 625. So whatever that number is today might not mean anything. What if in 3 months from now another company comes out and says their batteries now can go to 1,000 miles on a charge? That puts them ahead. That might deter the uptrend in some of the existing manufacturers. We don't know which ones and how much. But it also might be a detriment to things like Blink. And I've expressed this again in the chat room before, so you'll probably hear it again. But I lost my train of thought here. That's great. That's right. GM is moving into that area. Ford has already got I think they've got the Mustang that shows a lot of power. So there's a lot of technology advances, and it's advancing very rapidly. So an advance in one area might be detrimental to another area. For example, that's what I was doing. If the charging the charging of batteries is now every 1,000 miles, maybe charging stations like Blink aren't like your gas station where you have to go to it every week, because more than likely most vehicles are going to be back at a charging station within 1,000 miles. Somebody else comes out with a battery that is half the weight of existing batteries. So yes, and with that, George, yeah, there's other side industries like the lithium battery or the lithium mining companies. So, or fuel cell or plug that are working more on the hydrogen hydrogen what do I want to say, technology. So right now there's ups and downs of each in each sector, or each sector of the alternative energy vehicles, and there might be a company that comes up with another innovation that not only is it good for, let's say, vehicles, but might be for home use or something. Need more Stuckies, okay. Yeah, so the fuel cells. Yeah, so there's a lot of advances going on. So this is all leading to the point of, instead of trying to figure out which company, now, just from accumulating information from the chat room for the last couple of weeks, there's approximately 50 companies that are out there in the forefront that have gotten a lot of publicity. Are there charts? No, Gail. I'm on the Y, just so I can go through my rhetoric here. And that Y is alternative energy vehicles, mostly because that's where the consumer demand is going, or at least the consumer acceptance. It's the same thing in biotechs. Biotechs are advancing dramatically. So, yeah, basically emerging technology. So here's the problem, though. There's 50 some odd, prevalent manufacturers in the alternative vehicle, lithium batteries, that sort of thing. But there's still another 100 startups out there that are getting funded, that have technology research that are greatly enhancing the improvements of either electric vehicles or, again, in biotechs. Now, unless you've got a huge interest in spending hours and hours trying to research which companies might be coming up with new technology, which doesn't do you any good until that technology is completed and put out on the market. We're just kind of waiting, or instead of trying instead of trying to anticipate which one's going to come out of ahead of the pack, that's where the reverse engineering of candlesticks comes into play. So that is going to be the program that we're going to concentrate on, especially oriented toward the technology improvements, both in the electronic vehicle area and in biotechs. So with that, let's see if I can do this with any grace. Oops, I don't know how close I got that. Let me see. I need to move it slightly this way. And, whoops. How's that, Jim? Are we on track here? Oops, I can move it down a little bit. Close but not good. Move right side to the left. Right side to the left. How about that? Okay. All right, so let's go back here real quick. The market's just not doing anything that would get enthusiastic about either being hugely long or short. So this is the advantage of candlestick analysis, is it allows us to analyze which sectors are moving the best. Now, we know that the market's probably not falling out of bed because you can see what happened over here in the NASDAQ today. It's, again, nudging all-time highs. And I think even the Russell 2000 is getting very close to be back up above all-time highs. So with that, all right, Joe, yeah, I know they came out, but remember, back then, it wasn't, I'm just talking off the top of my head, it wasn't acceptable. It wasn't, I want to say, everybody, I mean, it was still kind of futuristic to think they'd have an electric car. So the two things that Tesla has done for us is, one, with his with Elon Musk's touting that he could do an electric car and the stock price skyrocketing, people are now saying, oh, well, maybe this genius does have something, and not only does he have something, there's other car companies that are also in the run, NIO and some of those type of Chinese manufacturers. So, and I'm not sure, probably back in 1996, whether the clean air, not clean air, but world warming, I forget, I can't even think of it. Yeah, I saw that, Joe. I saw at least YouTubes where they brought them all back in and they got rid of them. And global warming, thank you, Brad. So with that, because of Elon Musk being in the limelight and the stock price skyrocketing and the fact that they've now sold pretty close to 500,000 units this year, people were just kind of assuming that electric cars, yeah, they're on their way. So let's make one assumption, that the automobile industry is probably going to have a much bigger electric car I want to say presence over the next couple of years. And it's just like Betamax and I can't even think of the other one. Betamax got wiped out because of technology. So looking at Tesla, looking at NIO, we've got now a system where got VHS, that's it. So it was that type of technology where one beat out the other. Now it's going to be a process of, will fuel cells be able to take, meaning hydrogen engines be able to take, and it's not motor, I guess it's motors, not engines, be able to take over a good portion of the market. So that becomes the now the analysis, that once you find something that is working, then the next analysis is our normal evaluation of whether whether they're still in an uptrend or are they trading below the T-line, etc. So right now we're out of GP because it kind of topped out here and trading below the T-line. Does that mean GP is out of the mix? No, it's just we want to see when it's time to be in it and when it's obviously time to be back out of it. So we can take a look and see what sector, which stocks are acting the strongest. You can see Ballard Power was up strong today. NIU was up strong. So what we're really looking for now is if all of a sudden we see XYZ have a big breakout to the upside, we can go back and research what that why they're moving. That's right, Jay. I've got about 15 Edison machines here in my office. Yeah, but now I think, Tom, I think the analysis is that electric cars are here to stay and they won't be able to stop it. So instead of trying to stop it, they're jumping in. They're going to be part of it. So anyways, so here's the all the cars will be electric. I know the Mustang is right now, and I know they're working on one of their pickup trucks, the 150, making that electric. So, yeah, the Jetsons. Yeah, right now I think they said that the market cap of Tesla is bigger than the biggest 5 auto companies put together. All right, so that's the program we're going to be putting in place, is that we're going to be concentrating on the 2 sectors that have the biggest upside potential, which is the electric vehicles. Yeah, both for George, and that's exactly why we're looking at them on two scales. One for short-term trades during an uptrend, and 2 for long-term holds. Let's see. Joey, that's what you don't get concerned about. We were out of this one. There was nothing there. Let me make this bigger. I got back in right about here at 585 today because it looked like it was a breakout. And so here's the process of saying, should we be buying here? Should we be buying here? I mean, where was the place to be buying? And that's why the 10-minute chart is so effective. Wouldn't have been afraid to be buying here, wouldn't have been buying, or I would have been buying here. May not have been buying here because they were backing it up, but it would have been buying here because it told us the T-line was holding. May not have been buying there, but buying over here. So this is, again, another advantage of a candlestick chart, telling you if there's a big breakout going on, is it coming up and then pulling back, or can you see that it's continuing? Let me take a look here of some of the ones that we recommended, which was, oops, on the wrong chart. We recommended this one because of the best friend, doji gap up, J-hook, fry pan type bottom, moved up nicely today. So again, this is the whole point of candlestick analysis, is to put ourselves in situations where the probabilities are in our favor. Can you comment on your thoughts on shorting with shares, especially lower priced stocks that don't have options? Is it too risky on shorting? Dimitri, shorting is just the same analysis as anything else. I've been shorting with shares. You look at what the chart is doing. Now, remember, most stocks under $5 can't be shorted. Brokerage firms won't let you short. So, and right now in this market, I shouldn't say that. We'll get to some shorts here in a little bit. No, not concerned. Because if this is starting wave 3, what's it tell us about the 200? Well, if this is wave 1, that should tell us it should get up through the 200. You recommending options or equities on these? Mike, that's up to each individual. I picked up in WWR, I bought both calls and stock today, depending on which account I was putting them in. So every time we look at a chart setup, yes, I do hold overnight. I'm a swing trader, so my trades usually last anywhere from 2 to 10 trading days. Now, if you get a good run, if I had shorted this one, for example, on that bearish best friend, that's 5, 10, maybe 15 days. So very simple trading rules. If I'm shorting something, I stay short until I see a buy signal and it close back up above the T-line. So right now, this one with that little bullish flutter kicker. Tells me I'm still want to be a buyer on positive trading. So the sell criteria is only above, that's below the T-line. Well, the sell criteria, I don't understand what that means. Yeah, if I'm long, I'm going to stay long until I see a sell signal to close below the T-line, unless it's moving too far away from the T-line. So right now you can see where this one broke out, kind of that fry pan bottom. And just very simply, we just stay long as this stays up above the T-line. Where's my list here? Oh, XEPV. We can see the pattern. We can saw where the buying occurred. There's a bullish Arami right on the 50. There's an evening star, or I'm sorry, a morning star signal right on the 50. And what's that starting to set up? This fry pan bottom. We're staying long. Now, it closed where it bounced off the 50 and closed at the T-line. So we gave it one more day because everybody else was watching the 50. When it opened positive today, what that do? It's still confirming our fry pan bottom. Sell signal is either the signal or a selling pattern, yes. So a dumpling top is the opposite of a fry pan bottom. It's a slow rounding top. And we just did a whole, we did a whole day on Saturday on the different things that indicated when it was time to sell. Okay, so today fuel cell was up 14%. Once again, it held the T-line. Lithium was up 6 or 8%. Let's see, I had a bunch here. Let's see. Sunworks was up 17%. SPWR was up 15%. XPEV was up 12%. So this was basically to illustrate the fact that when you're in the right direction, you've got a much better probability that it's, or if you see a pattern set up, you've got a much better probability it's heading in the right direction. Where is this target, have no idea. But we know what we should be doing with the fry pan bottom, just holding it as long as it stays above the T-line. Would you typically wait for another day if the stock closes just below the T-line? Yes. So like on this one, made it very simple. It was right here at the T-line, within very close to it. Had it opened lower and started trading lower, we probably would have closed it out. And I'll see if I can find a few other examples of that. Remember, if the T-line has been acting as a support level for the last 2 months, and today it closes just slightly below the T-line, give it one more day to see if the T-line is still acting as a strong uptrend or uptrend support. CBAT looks like a little tweezer bottom, morning star signal. And which direction is this one moving? You can see this going on. Where's your next likely target? You can pretty much draw a line through the tops and parallel line right through the bottoms. So there's your next likely target. For the small cap traders, small price traders, OCGN. Also kind of getting this uptrend in progress. This one can still be bought with the expectation of a decent percent price move if it holds up above the T-line. Let's see. Oh, this one. LAC was up 26% today. So now our trading strategy becomes a little bit different. We've gapped up in the overbought area. Where is a good place to put a stop? Right here. They've gapped up. If they have enough strength to come back down through today's open, that tells you the selling has started to close out the position. The other side of the coin is, this is in that sector, the lithium battery or lithium mining sector, that tells us we could still have a lot more upside in this one. GP. So even though there's a upward movement in the this whole sector, you still have to analyze each individual stock to see what's going on. Kendai almost became a breakout situation. It couldn't get back up above the 50. Clean energy, still holding on, right at the cusp of if it opens positive tomorrow. You want to be buying it aggressively because you can see the channel and it's supporting on the T-line. And this is, again, fits into this scenario when we see a breakout, something new happening. We could see the J-hook pattern in bingo. We were buying right in here. It's moving nicely. And MDM. Whoops, let's get this a little bit more activated. Just a slow, steady uptrend. Something's wrong there. There, that's why. A better slow uptrend. ANAB has a bobble breakout, which makes this a more enticing trade, especially if it opens positive, doing kind of your double doji setup. NK, still, there's your message, telling us this J-hook uptrend is likely to continue. And Tuffin has worked out. It's doing some backing and filling. Right now we have a sell stop just below today's low. Because of that shooting star, little bit of selling, If this is still in an uptrend, it should be moving in this direction. It shouldn't be moving back below this level. But notice again where this buy was activated. There was your morning star signal scoop type pattern right off the T line. That if it opened positive, what was it telling you? First of all, it was telling you it was confirming the morning star signal. Secondly, it was telling you this level was not acting as resistance anymore. Did they? That's just a fine howdy do. So where is bingo trading right now? That's the one thing you can't be prepared for is okay. That just makes you want to kick your grandmother. That's the one thing you can't, so you still watch it because there's two elements to the backing off. One, everyone says, oh, that's going to dilute their stock. And then people finally figure out, say, wait a minute, not only are they putting out new stock, it's because they need more growth. So then after a couple of days, everybody comes back in. Let's just ran across S-fix. Nice chart pattern. All right. And Pola. Whoops. Didn't do that correctly. Pola, you just stay long. Right now, I'd use today's open. What stock? Oh, that was S-fix. This thing in the way. Well, what's happened? Oh, because we're on the wrong charts. That's why. I was over there just trying to figure out where bingo was trading. So S-fix acting well. Pola, stay long, use today's open. Today's open as your stop. Occidental, still in the uptrend. Hold on to your individual ones until we get done. When I tell Jim to do the double line, then you can put your individual stock request in. And we've had a position in IN ever since it was over this breakout. So that's been working well. ABBV for an option trade. You can see kind of the fry pan bottom, now the J-hook pattern. And what's most compelling is, look where it comes back to, the T-line. Gives you a natural support level. Let's see, we did all those. Whoops, IPO not found over here. All right. Netties. That one you can buy. That's a nice J-hook classic pattern starting with your best friend signal. And here's another one that's just now coming up off the 50, or a doji sandwich. If this opens positive tomorrow, giving you another doji sandwich, confirming that wave 3, wave 1, wave 3 could bring you all the way up into this area. Hydra, nice breakout. So this is where you use your reverse engineering. Something happened in Hydra today. You go back and see what the news was to see whether it's going to be relevant enough to continue the uptrend on that breakout. UAVS. I know people in the in the chat rooms have this. There's that doji sandwich breakout of J-hook pattern. You stay long. Sava, J-hook pattern. DB, doji or a trend kicker signal. Look what started this one. There's your fry pan bottom breakout. So when I keep showing these, there are so many different bullish patterns. There's probably about 15 or 20 that are very relevant, but you might not be able to become good at all of them. So pick out 2 or 3. One is the breakout patterns. Why do I have this one? Because I have, that's not right. That's Revlon. No, I was looking for Rev. So I don't know what happened to that one. There was your message on Acor. So this is what you always want to look for. When you have that message, watch to see when the selling stops. Is it RVP? No, but that's still a good looking chart. And this is why patterns are relevant. Look at your scoop pattern on XONE. Handle, look how the scoop started with the best friend gap up. Doji sandwich, there's your slingshot effect. So when you see this, in the old days, I would thought, I'm not going to buy this. There's a big resistance level. Now I know at least you've got the slingshot effect coming out of these type of patterns. Here's another J-hook pattern on MGNI. Good chart. The BIOC, there's that pattern. Which one did we just look at that had that same thing? Darn, I forgot it already. Was it Sava? No. Oh. BlackBerry. So BIOC, if this opens positive, I mean, that's as good a fry pan bottom as you can get, is it? ROVG? No, oops, I did it wrong. ROVG, that could be it. Gap up right here at the resistance level. Tom, that could be it. LXRX. So here's a very simple trading strategy. If you have a big move like this, if it opens lower and trades lower, close it out. You can always buy it back when it comes up through this area, which this one looks like it's going to. So I'd be ready to buy this one on positive trading, at least indicating you got a 45-degree in progress. So Hasbro, here's one that you could go short on weakness with the shooting star gap down. And somebody asked today which one I was still short. It's this one. I'm only short half a position on this one. But I'm watching it because look where it's kind of supporting right here at the 200 in the oversold area. Okay. Oh, let's see. I've skipped a few. Must be my speed reading. There's INSG. There's one that you get ready to buy on positive trading, especially if it breaks out through this. On MIME, we shorted up here where you had the double, kind of the double doji, bearish double doji. Look at your left-right combo. Tried to support at the T-line, it couldn't. That's where we were shorting. And then it covered half the position in here, waiting to see if it was going to close above the T-line. can you go over the message signal? Message signal. Oh. A message is it gaps up, but that's not a good bullish candle. That's your candle. They were opened here and they were selling it. But what was the message that you had to get out of all this? The fact that they gapped it up and then started taking profits. That gap up showed a lot of strength. So what do we watch for? We watch to see when the selling has stopped. Then you can start buying, because that message right there that there was lots of bullish force coming in tells you wait till the profit taking's over and then get in to the position. Different than a best friend signal, which is a doji gap up, but they open it and they trade positive. The message is they would open it up here and trade down here, and then you wait for the buying to start. Okay, so I forgot to mention that the rare program is not going to be just a, here's the information. It's going to be kind of a community process that if we're all looking at the same charts, meaning I guess we could put out the, if I can figure out how to do it, put out the, at least the 50 that are the big ones, so that everybody can keep an eye on them. And the more people you have watching to see if there's something big happening, like today we knew we have quite a few people who had been watching this because it started up and backed off. But when it started breaking out and taking notice of it, a lot of people saw it. Brad, yes, and that's kind of the benefit of having one trading system, or a trading system that everybody can recognize when something good's happening and then let everybody know. Can you maintain a list in a folder under the send button? Gary, I'll figure out how to do it. In this room, SP. Oh, on Acor, I would have been probably buying on this day, because this day told me the selling had stopped. I would have probably been buying and seen it move up, or even buying it on positive trading today. But wouldn't WWR would have been, yeah, it was a nothing chart up until the breakout. So we were out of this position, but when it came back up through this level right here, and the 10-minute chart was looking like this, that pretty much told you, yeah, you can start buying this one. Hold on to your individual ones. Yeah, DRIV is one of the ones, and ARK is, yeah, in that area. Now on the soybean side, this one was stronger than bear's breath for the last month, breaking out of this fry pan bottom, and then over the last couple of days started selling off. I just sold a couple contracts a little bit ago and covered with a good sized profit because it opened lower and was trading down through the T line. And so in the options room, when people request, we got people that trade futures in there also. Yes, so you can't watch them all, Joey. That's the whole point of the rare system. is to find the ones that might be being affected by something. This is NIU, not NIO, NIU. Good looking chart. All right. Is Cam in the options room? Is Cam, I don't know what that means. Been trading for 2 years. Wish I had found you 2 years ago. Dimitri, the problem with, I say the problem, I mean, I had the same problem years ago. I was a stockbroker and realized that brokerage firms had no more idea about what went up, made prices go up, and I got out of the business. Oh, Cam. Okay, Cam White. No, we didn't. We didn't ever get enough interest in binary options, so we backed down. So remember, Dimitri, over the last 20 years, somebody asked me when did we set up the website, and it was set up in 2001. So it's been 20 years now. It just doesn't seem like that because people are asking, 20 years, did you start this when you were 13 years old? And of course, I was a child prodigy. But when I started learning candlesticks, that was my rhetorical question. I kept saying, why isn't everybody using this? It makes so much sense. Oh, gilt. Yeah, gilt was one that took off like a rabbit today. So there was your little trend kicker type signal. Yeah, so were you guys still holding gilt? I had closed out. I was in the stock. I'd closed it out, so I missed this move. All right, good. Oh, Bill, I can't remember the older fellow that helped run the Denver group back then. But he was the one that told me the Indian joke. Yeah, I worked with Ron Rossway quite a bit. Oh, is he still running it? I need to give him a call. I haven't talked with him in 10 years. But you can't worry about that, George. If you get stopped out, look at that. It was a bearish kicker signal. There was nothing there to tell you to get back in until they brought it up here, and even then it would have been a hard decision. Oh, he runs it online? All right. If you're talking with him, give him my regards. Always liked working with him. Okay, so we're, again, today, not because we're any great stock pickers, but the charts were in the right direction. LAC was up 26%. WWR finished up 40%. SUNW up 17. SPWR up 15. Fuel cell up 14. XPEV up 12%. This is what makes investing fun, is knowing that every time you put on a trade, you've got the probabilities of definitely being in the right direction at the right time and the prospects of being in a situation that can produce a big profit very quickly. So with that, are there any general questions on candlesticks? Oh, wow. Got two clocks going off at the same time. There's something wrong there. All right, Jim, go ahead and do the double line. You could get ready to short BBY, but I would suspect the first place it's going to come back to is test the 50. You do have a bearish left-right combo. Blink we're holding on to with the anticipation that this trend channel is still in progress. And but definitely need to see this open positive. If it opens lower tomorrow, then you have the decision to close it out and then just get ready to buy it back on the next buy signal. Matador, you just stay long. Garmin, nothing wildly exciting here. I mean, you do have a little morning star signal. Yeah, you're probably right there. So you could be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow. Cousin Properties. If you like it, you stay long. You're just not going to make a big percentage return on this one unless it pays a good dividend. And Clovis, it's nudging the 200, giving you the prospect of a positive open, giving you a bobble breakout. And POAI, another one where you just stay long as it stays. 7.5 million shares. All right. Is that a lot for that stock? I don't have volume over here. Solo is kind of the weak sister in that group. However, it did come back up and close right here at the T-line, which means if it opens positive, you can see what's happening. You've got a fry pan bottom setting up there also. That's not what I wanted. ALB, you just stay long. Also looking for a positive open to break out through that area. Use the T-line as your stop. And what is going on here? This is just a nice steady eddy. Just stay with it. Use the T-line as your stop. EOSE. Nothing here yet. If you were short, you would have covered it. If I was going to buy this one, it would need more strength. You could buy it on positive trading. Just don't let it close back below the T-line. Nikola, if you're in it, you stay in it as long as it stays above the 50 and the T-line. If you're thinking of buying, I'd probably buy it above that level right there. Harry, yes, you definitely need to see this trade positive. That's a nice chart. Yeah, I'd stay long on that one. Facebook, not a great chart, but if you like it, you can be buying it just with the idea that you got to watch to see what happens at the 50, because that appears to be the resistance level area. VVPR, just stay long. BEP, that's a good looking chart with a morning star signal, and I don't think, I'll have to take a look to see if I've got that one on the list. If not, I will add it. GameStop has made some good profits with that big breakout. Here's your 45 degree. Just stay with this. Right now you can stay with this as long as it stays above the 3T line, let alone the T line. So I'd probably use the 3T line right now as my my trend indicator. Oh, am I looking at the right one? CC. Something is wrong here. Oh. And maybe it was me. No, that's not a cradle pattern. Remember, a cradle pattern is where it comes down at the bottom one trend and starts the next trend. That would have been more of a cradle pattern. This is just support at the T line, telling you they're not closing it below the T line. FT, you got out of gilt. All right. Good for you. If it's Colgate, Greg, you stay short. If it's crude oil was holding up above the 53 level. And Microsoft, just not a great trader. Nah. Yeah. Only because it's so big, so many stocks or shares outstanding that as an institutional trader, it moves very slowly. You could be buying this one on positive trading coming off that Morningstar signal. NIO was backing and filling today. Whoops, less backing and filling. Did a bullish Harami doji right on the 50. If it opens positive, you can kind of figure this uptrend remains in progress. RVLV, would you get out or maybe even go short? No. You're still above the T line if I'm looking at this correct, but you definitely need to see it stay above the T line. Wouldn't go short until you see a strong close below the T line. And the best friend signal on this one, still not a great looking chart. You're in a downtrend, so I would watch diligently to see if and when it gets to the 50, see what it does there. Reggie, oh, that's that one's still got a good looking chart. Morningstar signal. ONEM, best friend breakout. Look for a 45 degree to come off of this one. Would this be a buy on wave 3? I would suspect more that it's going to have that 45 degree. So if you're buying it, it needs to trade positive tomorrow. If it opens lower and trades lower, you stay out of it until it comes back up through today's close. This one, another best friend. Look for a 45 degree wave 3. I'd use the T line as your stop. And CNP, that one, I would figure the 50. So you stay long. It wouldn't be anything that I'd run after, but it's probably moving in the right direction. And PTN, you just stay long on this one. Better have lots of volume for a 90-cent stock. This one you can buy on positive trading. Looks like kind of a wedge breakout with your doji gap up. So I'd be a buyer on positive trading. And then I'd probably put my stop at today's low. Tour, nothing great yet. You need to see this confirm the J or the fry pan bottom. And Jivo had a good day, breaking out to the upside off kind of your double doji setup. That's a pretty hefty move. Looks like it was up about 60%. Just get ready to take profits. I would probably put at least a safety stop halfway down that candle. Very. Just stay long. Nothing wrong there. APDN. That one you can buy on positive trading. A doji sandwich confirming a J-hook pattern. HOFV, Hall of Fame. Nothing to get excited about there. Yeah, nothing there to get. I'd probably be other places. Codex, that one you can still be buying, kind of a J-hook pattern through the 50. And the other Kodak looked like it broke out a little bit today. Is Solo a methods rising? Not yet. It would be somewhat that way if it opened positive and traded strongly positive from here. F-Sly, you can be buying this one. Nothing great, but it's heading in the right direction. This one, AUDC, did a doji sandwich breakout through the 200. You stay long, but watch to see if they come back and use the 200 as support. FOV, nothing great there yet. Now, if this opens positive and trades positive, that bullish harami right on the T-line is giving you the information. So, yes, but it definitely needs to open positive and keep moving up from there. Workhorse, nothing. If you close it out Friday, I'd stay out until you see a strong buy signal. And Ride. So this is kind of the point of the following a lot of these electric vehicles, automated driving, all that area is once they've made their big move or trading, you watch to see when they pull back, when it's time to buy using the candlestick charts. MGNI, yeah, it's still a good pattern, especially if it breaks out through this level. Tells us you're probably heading up into this area. ATUS, bullish engulfing right off the 50. That's when you want to be buying. Ford, that's got a better looking chart than it has in a while. This one, I would also suspect a 45 degree. You stay long on Ford as long as it stays up above the T-line. Adam, stay long, but you're in the overbought area. Pick a spot where it shouldn't be trading, like maybe right here. Shouldn't come back down into that range. Battery extension, all right. Nothing here yet either, other than it's in a slow, steady uptrend. It looks like today it did a bullish harami. So you could be buying this one on positive trading with the implication that it's staying above the T-line in this uptrend. 3M is not a very vivacious mover. It does have a little best friend, the signal. You could buy it, but then you definitely want to watch to see what happens here at the 50. $3D, 45 degree in progress. You stay with it. Mavis. You could be buying this one on positive trading, and you continue to use the T-line as your stop. Bed Bath & Beyond. That's going to pull back for a little bit. So there was that big move up that when it opened lower and traded lower, I would have closed it out because you're up. You got a bearish harami in the overbought area. I would suspect they're going to bring it back and test the T-line area. Kind of a wedge on this one. It needs to break out. So you do have a Morningstar signal. You could buy this on positive trading. Just make sure it stays above that level. Yes, oops, Marshall, Marshall, you analyze it, and I never read far enough, and you always analyze the ones that I tell you the exact same thing. So I should be asking you which ones to look at. Rite Aid, you just stay long as it stays above the T-line. We did F-Sly, we did Kodak. AIKI, nothing there, JB. If you stayed long, that would have been a tough one to stay long in. If you are long, it has to open positive tomorrow. What is it? IMAB. What does IMAB do? You could buy this one on strength also, yes. We did Mavis. Mavis, you can buy this one on positive trading. Melly. Just stay long. Do you buy using market orders, especially on those gappers? Yes. Because I'm sitting here all the time. So if I see something that I want to buy, I just buy it. Because in the past, I've tried to save an extra 12 cents, 15, 20, 40 cents, and missed out on a $3 move. If I see something that looks good, I buy it. Because I'm buying it because it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Okay. Have to see how these markets open tomorrow. Yes. Yes, if you just email Abraham at candlestickforum.com, he can get you set up. All right, everybody, we're all going to be working together on the RARE program, meaning I'll try to get the 50 or so stocks that we're watching. And so it's going to be a dual process, meaning if somebody sees something happening in a stock that we know is oriented toward technology in the electronic vehicles or biotechs, try to point it out quickly so everybody can analyze it, find out what the news was. So that's what's going to be putting us in the right positions at the right time. All right. Thank you, CB. All right, everybody. Have a good evening. We will see you bright and early in the chat rooms. We'll see you then.